NFL playoffs live on Monday Night Football right here on KSAT with more of what's on instant replay tonight. Let's check in with that.
If you had to guess what will happen, what do you think?
One and done.
Oh, okay. I'll go the other way, Cowboys. And should the Cowboys win, who will they play next? We've got highlights from every single NFL playoff game coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
Yes, go Cowboys! Let's go! Woo!
The Dallas Cowboys have arrived in Tampa for the start of the playoffs with a lot of questions. Can they beat a Tom Brady team for the very first time? Which quarterback shows up for Dallas? The Dak Prescott who ran over the Minnesota Vikings 40-3, or the Dak Prescott who gave us the worst performance of his career in the 26-6 loss to the Commanders last week? And should the Cowboys lose, is it the last time we see Ezekiel Elliott wearing the star?
Barkley muscling forward. Barkley, what an effort, and he is in. Touchdown, New York.
And if the Cowboys are able to advance to the divisional round of the playoffs next weekend, who will they face? We have highlights from all the NFL games played for you this weekend. Find out. It's awesome. What a night in Spurs history. Their 50th anniversary celebration draws an NBA record 68,323 fans to the Alamo Dome. What are some of those memorable moments? The Sports Guys sound off live from San Antonio and Tampa, Florida tonight. All that plus the Spurs are back on the court to face the Sacramento Kings tonight. We go one-on-one with Tony Parker. It is Mike McCarthy's job on the line should the Cowboys be one and done in the playoffs again. Tonight, you decide. Instant Replay is live and it's right after the Nightbeat.
I clarify, I prefer the Cowboys.
You prefer, right.
We've seen Brady do Brady things too many times.
7 straight, actually, right?
Thanks, Greg. Still to come on the Nightbeat, it was a life-changing day for many families in Uvalde, but for this little girl, it was the day she learned her voice can move mountains, why she identifies as an activist at just the age of 10 years old.
And parts of California still dealing with the aftermath of heavy flooding. See new video from rescues to recovery efforts on the West Coast.
And New York City's mayor is seeing the situation at the border up close for himself after visiting El Paso today. What he's demanding the Biden administration do that will not only help New York, but also Texas.
Now to the crisis on the border with Mexico. New York is one of the cities hundreds of migrants have been flown to from the Texas-Mexico border.
And today, New York City's mayor seen the situation at the Texas border with his own eyes in hopes of getting more federal assistance.
ABC's Phil Lipoff shows us what sites the border visit offered.
This morning, New York City Mayor Eric Adams touring the southern border in El Paso and asking the federal government for emergency funding for New York City. The mayor speaking this week with Caribbean Power Jam Radio.
And I really believe it's irresponsible that we have not had a real national response to what's happening at our border.
And New York City isn't alone. Denver, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., among other cities, asking for similar emergency help. Governors from Texas, Arizona, Florida, and Colorado have been busing migrants out of their states. Adams says he can no longer afford to shelter more migrants. 40,000 coming to New York City since the spring. A record 800 in one day, 3,100 last week alone. Shelters in New York City at their limits. So this 28-story, 1,300-room luxury hotel is being used to house migrants, some seeking asylum. Still, Adams says more is needed to house, feed, and educate migrants. He says it will cost the city between $1.5 and $2 billion, and he's only received $10 million in federal aid.
The strain on our infrastructure is just immense.
President Biden visiting the border last week, meeting with El Paso's mayor amid a crisis now not just in border states, but across the country as well.
And that was Phil Lipoff reporting. As a reminder, back in late December, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the Biden administration must keep Title 42 in place. That limits the number of migrants seeking asylum. Justices will hear arguments come February.
To international news, the people of Nepal are dealing with the aftermath of a plane crash where at least 68 people were killed. It's being described as the deadliest plane crash in Nepal in more than 30 years. Dramatic video showing Yeti Airlines Flight 691 coming into land, quickly swerving to the left and then crashing into a river. The plane bursting into flames, witnesses calling emergency services after hearing the explosion. That aircraft was reportedly equipped with an old transponder with unreliable data. It's unclear right now what caused that crash. Following the crash, Yeti Airlines canceled all of its flights for Monday, and Nepal's prime minister declared Monday a day of national mourning.
A Chicago woman now reunited with her sister's ashes after being surprised that they were found in the back of a U-Haul truck. Laura Rodriguez, the youngest sister of a family with 11 siblings, died in December 2021. The family gave Laura's ashes to her boyfriend, who had taken care of her while she battled cancer. But Laura's family members had no idea that the ashes had even disappeared. That led to a search by U-Haul staff to find the family.
They asked me first if I was a relative of Laura, and I said, yes, I am. And then they just told me this just strange thing that didn't make no sense, that my sister's ashes were on some U-Haul truck. And I'm like, oh, my God.
One U-Haul employee says Rodriguez's boyfriend was there earlier Friday to claim the ashes, but was in so much distress he suffered a cardiac episode and was taken by first responders to the hospital. Her sister Maria hopes he's okay and can reach out to her soon.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill continuing to react to the latest revelations about classified documents found at President Joe Biden's home. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the appointment of a special counsel to investigate how the president handled classified documents after leaving the vice presidency in 2017. Democrats say they support Garland's decision, and while some are calling the situation embarrassing for the president, they are quick to contrast Biden's case with that of former President Trump. That is, he is also being investigated for possible mishandling of classified materials. In the meantime, House Republicans have now launched their own probes.
We need to get to the bottom of this so that we don't see this kind of thing happen again.
The American people see how President Trump's been treated on one hand, and they want to see a sense of fairness.
The chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Kentucky Congressman James Comer, has written to the White House requesting visitor logs from President Biden's home in Wilmington and that they be turned over by January 30th. So far, the White House has not responded.
From torrential rains and gusty winds in the west to deadly tornadoes in the south, flooding concerns for more than 26 million people in California. The precipitation bringing snow to the mountains. ABC's Derek Dennett shows us the extreme weather being felt in different parts of the country.
Dramatic video from Orange County, California, where rescue crews used a helicopter to drop down and pull a young woman from a swollen creek in Laguna Hills. She was hanging onto a tree in the fast-moving water. That creek and rivers like it overflowing with water from a deluge of rain that once again swept through the state, causing more flooding Saturday. And take a look at this bolt of lightning in San Francisco, striking the Golden Gate Bridge in the distance. In the Sierra Nevada mountains, more snow, whiteout conditions near the California-Nevada border forced part of Interstate 80 to close. Several feet of snow has already fallen in the area, and another 3 to 6 feet is expected on the ground by Monday morning. That atmospheric river bringing moisture from the Pacific Ocean has been walloping the west since last month and killed at least 17 people. In the south, crews are searching for survivors after tornadoes touched down in 7 states, leaving at least 9 people dead, many from Autauga County, just north of Montgomery, Alabama. Julia Jackson knew one of the victims.
Just took him out of his trailer and just, like a rag doll, just spin him around and threw him down. All you can do is just cry. It hurts so bad to see my community like this.
Forecasters say the storm out west now will move east, bringing rain and possible snow to the northeast later this week. Derek Dennis, ABC News, New York.
Yeah, pretty scary and extreme weather out there along the west coast and even across portions of the deep south. Here in South Central Texas, it has pretty much been the opposite story. Besides a little bit of wind out there earlier today, things have been relatively calm and quiet. We should at least be able to find a little bit of rain out there. Our next chance, a small one, does move in on Wednesday. Quick look at the almanac data for today. A low of 48. A little chilly out there this morning, but not as cold as what we saw out there yesterday morning and Friday morning. A high of 75. So again, above average. That's going to be the trend that continues through at least the first half of the upcoming week before we see that weak front move in on Wednesday. Temperatures right now in the 60s across the board here in San Antonio, and as of right now, no issues out there in terms of visibility, but with that humidity pumping in, these numbers may be a bit lower by wake up time tomorrow. Another full look at our MLK Junior Day forecast tomorrow, plus a look at that small rain chance on Wednesday in a few.
All right, Mia, we'll look forward to it. It's a random bunch of films on the big screen this weekend. Action, animated, suspense, and of course Avatar. But which one put the most butts in seats? We'll have a look at your weekend box office results.
That's the technical term.
That is,
right?
it is.
Okay, cool. So she's using her voice to advocate for lives lost in Uvalde. We'll introduce you to this 10-year-old activist and show you who she's honoring by being a voice for change.
Tonight, we are returning to Uvalde and a young changemaker there. At just 10 years old, Caitlin Gonzalez has become an activist. She's a survivor of the Robb Elementary shooting, and she lost her best friend that day. Now, Caitlin tells the Night Team's Lee Waldman she will not rest until change happens.
There, all done.
Visiting her best friend.
I like this rave. I've never seen this.
At a place where she feels most connected.
We would usually do like a secret Santa.
Just like the constant sleepovers they once had.
On May 24th at our award ceremony, she had told my mom, Miss Gladys, I want to go to your guys' house so we can eat some pancakes again.
Caitlin Gonzalez and Jackie Casares still talk.
I just tell her like what I did today and like the important stuff of my day.
Jackie's replies only Caitlin can hear in her heart. Their next sleepover never came.
We just kept hearing bangs and bangs and bangs. I heard a scream and it sounded like Jacqueline's, but I didn't think it was Jackie's, so.
Caitlin keeps Jackie close to her, wearing bows in her hair with Jackie's names. The 10-year-old says she's not afraid of using her voice.
I had messages for PR and all the law enforcement that were there that day. Turn in your badge and step down. You don't deserve to wear one.
So when people say that you're an activist, what are you an activist for?
Just like for my friends who don't have a voice no more.
For your friends who don't have a voice anymore, what do you want to say for them?
Just they don't deserve to die in vain.
Caitlin is a constant fixture at school board meetings. Her goal is to hold adults accountable. She's also made trips to Washington, D.C. to ask for changes to gun laws.
I'll just tell them like to pass the assault weapon ban.
Though these past 7 months have been filled with good days and bad, Caitlin has a support system of survivors from other school shootings.
I met some from Oxford, Sandy Hook, from Parkland, and Columbine, that's a long time ago.
All of them promising the same thing.
Like, we shouldn't let none of the kids or teachers write and read.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Mia, so for the march tomorrow, if anyone's holding signs, they won't have to worry about them blowing away like they might have today.
Right, it's not going to be nearly as windy as what we saw out there earlier this afternoon, which is the good news. It'll be a little muggy out there in the mornings, but then after we see the sun come up into the afternoon hours especially, it's just going to be a little bit warmer than where we should be for this time of year. All right, let's take a look, though, before we get into the forecast again for tomorrow, at this awesome photo sent in from Taylor. This was the sunset this evening near the Woodlawn Lake area. We had a deck of mid and high level clouds move in earlier this evening. For some of us, unfortunately, that obstructed the International Space Station flyover. But for some of us, we had nice sunset and a few peaks of blue sky. We were able to see that ISS flyover earlier this evening. All right, the cloud cover is expected to build through the overnight hours tonight and into tomorrow morning, which means some patchy fog will also be possible thanks to the humidity that is also working its way back in. And then after that, just unseasonably warm as we head into Monday afternoon. More unseasonably warm conditions in the works into our Tuesday. Wednesday, that's when we're expecting that midweek front to move in, especially throughout the first half of the day. A small chance for a few isolated showers possible, higher chances of finding that east of San Antonio. And then after we see that front move in, slightly cooler and drier air is going to work back into south central Texas, which means it'll be a little bit more comfortable out there as well. But let's time out that rain chance really quickly. You can see that while we're of dry out there in terms of the radar. We do have those clouds that are filtering across the region. A little bit of a different story, though, off to our north. Some rain and even some snow filtering across portions of the Central Plains. That stretches into the upper Midwest region as well. There's all that rain and snow still battering the West Coast in California. There's an area of low pressure approaching the Pacific Northwest. But what we're interested in is this little piece of energy that is off to the west of that low pressure system. That is going to further develop as it tracks eastward here over the next several days. By Tuesday around lunchtime, it's producing some snow across the Four Corners region, higher elevations up in the Rockies. No snow for us, but as we see the front associated with that low pressure system swing across the Lone Star State, again throughout the first half of the day on Wednesday right now is looking to be the time frame that we monitor for a few isolated showers. I think the better chance, though, of finding more substantial rain is going to be in far east Texas. That's also where the severe weather threat is with that weather maker. Not expecting severe weather or anything like that here in San Antonio. After we see that front move through, there's that drier air and breezy conditions that move back in for the rest of the day on Wednesday. Overall, a 20% chance there, and then we'll look ahead to the weekend for another chance, although small, to find a few more showers. Unfortunately, especially with Wednesday's system, whatever we do find, not going to be for everybody, and it's not going to be enough to bust the drought conditions that we do have in place that we can still see there with the drought monitor. Temperature-wise, we're in the 60s right now, a little muggy out there, and that'll be the case through the overnight hours and into our Monday morning. Again, because of that, there's that patchy fog that could develop. This isn't perfect, but it does give us an idea that we could find some reduced visibility out there hitting the road tomorrow morning. We'll wake up to temperatures in the 50s and low 60s in and around San Antonio, and then throughout the remainder of the day, your KSAT 12-hour forecast shows that we're near about 73 by lunchtime, and then as we see more of that sunshine take back over, daytime highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. There's more of the same on Tuesday, still warm on Wednesday, but then after we see that slightly cooler air take back over, we're in the 60s and low 70s to wrap up the week and head into next weekend, so not too bad out there, guys.
Come on, Rain. Grass is getting crunchier.
Yes.
Sure doesn't seem like it, but I'm betting Old Man Winter's not done with us yet.
Okay.
It's February. A lot of February to go.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
We'll be right back.
Gerard Butler's latest action movie, Plane, soared into the top 5 in its debut weekend on ticket sales of just over $10 million. The Tom Hanks dramedy A Man Called Otto stayed in 4th place with $12.7 million, while Puss in Boots: The Last Wish pounced on $13.4 million, bringing its domestic box office total to over $110 million.
I designed Megan to protect Katie from feeling lonely.
AI fright flick Megan scared up $17.9 million in its second weekend in theaters, bringing its 2-week total to $59.7 million. James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water continues at #1 for the 5th straight week, adding $31.1 million to its domestic box office total. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Just 2 days after setting the NBA attendance record in the Alamo Dome, the Spurs are back home hosting the Sacramento Kings in the AT&T Center.
Yeah, and what does Tony Parker think of the Spurs being back home in the Dome where his NBA career began? Tonight, you'll find out. For more on What's an Instant Replay, let's head over to Greg Simmons.
Yeah, it was fun to see everybody come back, the reunion, the hugs, the talks. It was great. And our Larry Ramirez will join us live from Tampa, Florida for a preview of the Dallas Cowboys playoff game against the Buccaneers. Coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay, live from San Antonio and Tampa.
You're expecting something else?
How cool is that? Just 2 days after setting the NBA attendance record for a regular season game at 68,323, the Spurs return to the AT&T Center to host the Sacramento Kings tonight. We got all the highlights. We'll take you inside the Spurs locker room after the game.
Ours was a little bit different, because we had the curtain and everything, and it was more on the side. But right now, it's almost like a unique experience.
Tony Parker was back home in the Dome where his NBA career started as a rookie. What did he think of the Spurs' 50th anniversary game and the reunion that ensued for him? And as a result, with both Avery Johnson and Sean Elliott calling that special game against the Warriors. All that plus our own Larry Ramirez will join us live from Tampa, Florida for a preview of Monday Night Football playoff showdown between the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And our latest Scholar Athlete of the Week, Instant Replay, is live, and it is next.
Another jam-packed edition coming your way.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Greg.
Love all that Spurs footage. All right, we'll be right back.